honored and sad at the same time. I got this message today where somebody wanted me to write the foreword on a medical cannabis journal edition that they are doing. And I had to turn it down. And part of the reason that I had to turn it down is because I am one of like less than 5% of the world that has this weird thing where I do actually lack part of the endocannabinoid pathway, and another part of it is really slow functioning. So cannabis would never be a product that I would recommend because I would never use it, and without knowing your genetics, you would never know this. Now, one thing I can tell you is that when I was younger and my friends would use cannabis products, I would get a migraine and I would get very sick, like vomiting. And so, if anybody ever asked if I wanted to partake, the answer was always no. And then I grew up in California, and they were one of the first adopters of cannabis for chemo patients. And my grandmother used it. And I remember being out at her house and sitting with her and just starting to vomit profusely. And if that isn't the biggest warning sign that you shouldn't do something, I don't know what is. So, in my lifetime, I have never done anything like that. But also, I had the incidents happen where people were using it for pain control in Colorado, and as a physical therapist, I was treating chronic pain patients. And there was more than once where I had to turn a chronic pain patient away because they had used even something like a gummy or a lollipop before coming into my office, and it was so intense on them or coming through their pores that it created a migraine or vomiting for me. And again, this is like less than 5% of the world would have this problem. But oddly, since I have found out about my genetic predisposition to this particular inconvenience, I have met 10 other people just like me. So please know that there are a lot of things that work for a lot of people. And then there are people who can't do something, and they can't do it because genetically they aren't set up to do that, whatever it is. And so there are cases where people will blame things on genetics, and there are cases where people will defend something based on their genetics. Now, here's the deal: I have no problem using other things to manage pain, but I would never use this. But I also have no problem with somebody who chooses to use this or uses it for oncology or uses it for a lot of different things. Honestly, there's a lot of literature around this, and you should look into it. um, and I have no judgment against that. I just know that I can't have you do it around me, and that's a hard limit for me, given that the geneticist that I worked with said specifically in my report, what it came back with was that this could cause migraines, other types of low-grade headaches, nausea, vomiting, seizures, stroke, psychosis, and death. I'm sorry, my health is more important than you getting to do what you're doing, so I'm gonna abstain and ask you to not be around me if you're using that substance. That's all. If this is something that you've been interested in, this is actually their second or third publication, and Andrew Solis de Groot is the one publishing it with a group of other peers, and you should go check it out because by all rights, the research is amazing if this fits with your genetics.